Before the sun rises, long before the first school bus rumbles down the street, he is already there. Keys at his side, mop in hand, moving through the corridors like a ghost with purpose. To most, he's invisible, a blur in the background. The man who fixes what's broken, wipes what's forgotten, and locks up what's been left behind. But this school remembers him, even if its students don't Roblik. He was here when the paint on the lockers was fresh, when teachers were still using chalk, when the oak tree in the courtyard was just a sapling. Now that tree casts shade on generations of kids. He's watched grow some, he's carried to the nurse's office with scraped knees. Others he's found crying in bathroom stalls, too afraid to go home. He's seen students become parents. He's seen his name scribbled on thank you cards and scrawled on bathroom walls. He's swept up glitter from art projects and glass from angry hands. He's laughed with teachers during snow days and cried alone in the boiler room the day he found out his wife wouldn't be coming home. And through it all, he stayed. Not because he had to, but because someone needed to. He is the school custodian, but more than faith is its witness, its memory. And in these empty hallways, echoing with footsteps that never quite fade, he carries stories no one else remembers. This is one of them. Welcome to Unsung Hands, where silent hands are finally given a voice. Here, we tell the stories that time forgot, stories of those who work quietly behind the scenes, building the world while no one notices, jobs that never make the headlines, but without them, nothing runs. If you believe that every life deserves to be heard, hit like to support these quiet but powerful stories. And don't forget to subscribe to Unsung Hands, so each week we can uncover another hidden chapter of the human journey together. The school is still asleep. It's 5:30 in the morning, and the building is wrapped in silence. Not the uneasy kind, not the haunted kind, but the sort of silence that comes with age, with memory, with the weight of everything that has passed through its halls and everything that still lingers. The double doors creak open, just slightly. Then the sound of keys, a quiet jingle, low and familiar. He steps in, boots worn smooth by decades of movement, a jacket that once was navy blue, now faded to something like dust. He takes a breath slow, measured, and exhales into the dim air of the entryway. Every morning begins the same. He flicks on the lights. The hallway flickers to life in long fluorescent strips, humming softly. He walks past the bulletin board with its half-torn flyers and crooked announcements. Past the trophy case, still lit from the inside. Past the photos of smiling faces, most of whom have already left this place for lives far away. In his hand, a ring of keys, 42 of them, each with a specific door, each with a story. He starts with the first classroom. Unlock, push, light on. He scans the room like a gardener checking soil. Chairs pushed in, desks aligned, trash bins empty. He picks up a paper airplane from under the radiator and smooths its wings, places it on the corner of a desk as if returning something sacred. Down the hall, he unlocks the music room, the gym, the art wing. He moves without rush, without noise. This is his favorite time of day, the hour before anyone else arrives, when the building belongs only to him, when the walls breathe with quiet and the floors hold their stories close. He walks past a scuff mark near the baseboard, right where kids always drag their backpacks. He bends down, wipes it clean. Behind the water fountain, he finds a gum wrapper tucked into the corner, tosses it into the rolling trash bin beside him. In room 103, a single chair is turned away from the table. He straightens it, instinctively. He's not sure why it matters, but it does. As he walks back toward the east wing, something catches his eye. a folded piece of notebook paper crumpled near a locker. He picks it up, opens it slowly. There's just one line. "I hate this school." He stares at it for a long moment, then folds it again, slips it into his pocket. He won't throw it away, not yet, because he knows that kind of feeling. He's seen it before in the boy who ate lunch behind the bleachers, in the girl who never raised her hand, in the teen who slammed his locker so hard the door came loose. Sometimes the loudest cries don't make a sound. And he listens, even when no one speaks. He continues on, past the cafeteria, where chairs are stacked in upside-down rows, past the library, where he can still remember helping install the carpet back when he was new, back when his hair was still black and his knees didn't ache in the cold. That was 34 years ago. He was only supposed to stay a few months, just until he figured things out, just until the next thing came along. But life didn't go that way. The months stretched into years. The years became a life. And the school, without asking, became a part of him. In the janitor's closet, he refills the mop bucket. The water steams in the cold air. He adds just the right amount of disinfectant. Not too much, not too little. He hums a tune from long ago, doesn't know the name, just the feel of it. The floor glows faintly behind each stroke of the mop. In the corner of the supply room, there's a box. A cardboard one, taped on the edges. Inside are drawings, old birthday cards, scribbled notes from kids long grown. "Thanks for fixing the swing. You're the best, Mr. D. Sorry I threw up." He doesn't open it today, but just knowing it's there, it helps. At 6:45, the first staff member arrives. The assistant principal, carrying a thermos and a phone already pressed to her ear. She nods to him, distracted, then walks on. More cars pull in, more footsteps echo, more voices rise. Soon, the building will burst into life shows squeaking on tile, lockers slamming, bells ringing. But for now, it's still his. He finishes mopping the west hallway, pauses by the front windows. Outside, the sun is just beginning to rise, painting gold onto the brick walls. He looks down at his hands, calloused, cracked, stained from years of work. They don't move as fast as they used to. The pain in his shoulder has been getting worse. But he doesn't mention it. Not because he's trying to be strong, because he doesn't want to be replaced. He hangs the mop, washes his hands, dries them slowly. The bell rings at 7:30. And just like that, the silence is gone. But he's still here, always here. The building is awake now. The silence of morning has cracked open, replaced by the familiar storm of arrival. Locker doors slam like thunder. Backpacks drop with heavy thuds. Children's voices echo off the tile floor, some shouting to friends, others whispering secrets, all of them moving with energy too big for their small frames. And through it all, he moves quietly. Present, but never in the way. Steady, like a shadow that has always been there. They call him Mr. D. Sometimes it's, "Hey, Mr. D, the bathroom's out of paper." Sometimes it's, "Mr. D, the sink is spraying again." Other times it's just, "Sir," followed by a gesture, a problem, a request for help that no one else has time to solve. He always responds the same way. A small nod, a quiet, "Got it." And then he moves, toolbox in hand, steps calm even when the halls are anything but. This morning, the water fountain near the third grade wing is leaking again. Not much, just a steady drippet. The puddle on the floor is growing. He kneels down with a wrench, tightens the valve, wipes the tile dry with a rag he's used since last fall. He'll mark the pipe for replacement, but he knows it'll take weeks, maybe months. He doesn't complain. At 8:15, a kindergartner comes barreling around the corner too fast, slips, crashes into his cart, bursts into tears. He's there before the teacher arrives. One hand on the child's shoulder, voice soft. "You're okay. Just a bump. Happens to all of us." He hands over a small, colorful sticker from the stash he keeps in his coat pocket. Smiling dinosaurs. A personal touch. The crying slows. The child nods, runs off, wiping their face with a sleeve. Mr. D stands, slowly. His knees pop. He winces. Pain flares down his side sharp, familiar. He leans on the cart for a second, then keeps moving. In the cafeteria, he wipes down tables left sticky from breakfast, picks up a half-eaten banana and a spilled milk carton. One of the aides gives him a grateful look as she hurries past. He tips his cap. In the teacher's lounge, the coffee machine is making that grinding noise again. He kneels, opens the back panel, cleans out the buildup, tightens the filter, all while two teachers talk over him like he isn't there. "I have 22 kids and no prep time. I haven't peed since 6 a.m. He chuckles under his breath, then quietly says, "You can add that machine to the list of exhausted staff." They laugh, not at him, with him. And in that moment, he's not just the custodian. He's part of something. At 10 o'clock, a teacher flags him down from across the hallway. "Mr. D, sorry, room 210. One of the ceiling lights is flickering like crazy. I've got kids with sensory issues and it's throwing them off." "On it," he says. Up the ladder, fluorescent bulb in hand, balance tight, shoulder aching. He works fast, careful not to disrupt the lesson. The teacher mouths, "Thank you." One of the students, quiet, maybe 5th grade, draws a tiny thumbs up in their notebook and slides it toward him when he climbs down. He smiles, taps the paper once, says nothing. By lunch, the hallways are scattered with crumbs, napkins, and lost mittens. He pushes the mop bucket like a familiar companion. Along the way, he picks up a pencil with bite marks and a broken eraser. He places it gently on the lost and found shelf, even though no one will claim it. He stops in front of the girls' bathroom, listens. Sobbing, he knocks gently. "You okay in there?" No answer. He waits. "I'm just here to check the sinks," he says. Still nothing. Then finally, a voice, small. "I don't want to go back to class." He doesn't ask why. He doesn't press. "Okay," he says. "I'll be here a minute. You take your time." He cleans slowly, runs the water for just long enough to make it sound like work, keeps his presence quiet but steady. A few minutes later, she comes out, eyes red, head down. She walks past him, wordless. He nods once. She nods back. That's enough. He watches her disappear around the corner, then turns back to the sinks, wipes them twice, though they were already clean. At 1 p.m., the noise dips, a lull before dismissal. He finds a quiet spot in the boiler room, sits on an old stool, closes his eyes. His side still hurts. The ache in his back is spreading. He should get it checked. But appointments cost money, and missing a day feels harder than pushing through one. He drinks from a thermos of lukewarm tea. On the wall beside him is a yellowed newspaper clipping his daughter's softball championship, 2007. He keeps it there, taped crookedly. She hasn't visited in years, but he still reads the headline when the pain gets bad. At 2:45, the building begins to stir again. Backpacks packed, shoes tied, questions shouted down the halls. "Did you hear there's going to be snow? Can we bring toys tomorrow? My mom said we're moving." Mr. D walks through it all, sweeping, nodding, fixing what's needed. noticed by few, valued by all. By 3:15, the last bus pulls away. And just like that, the chaos disappears. The hallway falls quiet once more. But his day isn't done. The last bell has rung. The footsteps have faded. The voices have gone quiet. And once again, the school belongs to him. He stands in the hallway, listening, not for anything in particular, but for the kind of silence that only comes after chaos. It has a texture, a weight. He lets it settle. This is the part of the day most people never see. The part where the excitement drains from the walls, and what's left behind is everything that's been forgotten. He starts with the cafeteria. Tables half wiped, chairs pushed in crooked rows, crumbs scatter like confetti beneath every bench. A juice box lies crushed in the corner, its straw missing. Someone left a mitten on the radiator. Another dropped a folded paper snowflake near the trash can. He picks them up one by one. There's no rush, no performance, just ritual. He sweeps slowly, working from back to front, gathering every lost napkin, every broken crayon, every invisible detail. He wipes the benches twice, once for the mess, and once for the day itself. As if by cleaning, he's helping the building breathe again. In the gym, the lights buzz overhead. A basketball rolls lazily along the far wall. Someone's notebook sits on the bleachers. He opens it gently. Inside, a single page reads, "I miss my dad." He doesn't read more, just closes it, sets it carefully in the lost and found bin outside the gym door, like returning a secret to where it might someday be found. He walks past the art room, brushes still drying in their jars, paint splatters frozen on the floor. On a desk, there's a sketchbook left open, charcoal lines of a boy and a man sitting under a tree. The caption, "Me and Grandpa before he got sick." He touches the edge of the page, then leaves it as is. Some things are meant to be left open. Down the hall, he enters room 204, the 5th grade classroom. He knows this room better than most. His daughter once sat in the front row years ago. He can still picture her, hand raised, eyes bright, ponytail bouncing when she laughed. She used to run down these halls and yell, "That's my dad!" when her friends asked who the janitor was. Now she lives 2 states away. They don't talk as often as they used to. He doesn't blame her. He vacuums slowly, humming under his breath. The same old tune. Doesn't even know where he first heard it. Maybe the radio, maybe a commercial, maybe just somewhere deep in his own memory. He empties the trash bin, replaces the liner. As he straightens the desks, something catches his eye beneath one of the chairs. A drawing, crumpled, slightly torn. He picks it up, unfolds it gently. It's a child's picture of him. Bald head, round glasses, mop in hand. Above the stick figure are the words, scrawled in big, uneven letters. "Mr. D is king of clean." He laughs, really laughs. Not loudly, but deeply. Like the laugh had been waiting there in his chest all day. He folds the drawing carefully, smooths the crease, and slips it into his pocket. Later tonight, he'll add it to the box in his supply closet. The box filled with notes, doodles, cards, and small thank yous collected over 3 decades. It's not for anyone else. Just him. His quiet archive. Proof that what he does matters. At 5:15, he passes the stage in the auditorium. Empty. Dark. He pauses. He can still hear his daughter's voice echoing there from years ago, dressed as a sunflower in the 2nd grade play. He still remembers the way her voice cracked on the last line, how she ran into his arms afterward, worried she'd ruined the show. She was perfect, he had told her. And she was. Now that stage feels like a church. Quiet, sacred, filled with ghosts that are gentle and kind. Back in the hallway, he kneels to fix a loose tile near the trophy case. As he works, he notices a photo class of 98. One of the boys in the picture used to stay late every day, claiming to miss the bus just so he wouldn't have to go home. That boy now teaches across town. He passed Mr. D last year in the grocery store, stopped, called him by name. They talked for 10 minutes about life, about school, about how the old place still smells the same. "Thanks for being there," the man said before leaving. "I remember more than you think." Mr. D didn't know what to say then. He still doesn't press for it. At 6 o'clock, the building hums in low tones, the kind of hum a place makes when it's tired, but grateful. He finishes wiping the last window, turns off the classroom lights one by one, locks the doors behind him. Before heading out, he walks to his supply closet. He opens the box, adds the drawing. Mr. D is king of clean. And for a moment, just a breath, he lets himself feel proud. Not because the floors are spotless, not because everything's in its place, but because this quiet, unseen work has shaped lives, even when no one noticed. And that's enough. The first thunder rolls in just after 6:30 p.m. At first, it's distant, a soft rumble beyond the hills, but he feels it in his knees, that familiar ache, the kind that settles deep in the joints and always comes with rain. He's mopping the last hallway when the rain begins. Heavy drops against the windows, steady and sure, then louder, faster, until it sounds like marbles hitting glass. He doesn't mind storms. He's used to weathering things alone. Most of the lights in the building are already off. Just the dim emergency rows left humming. Everyone else is gone home to warm meals and soft beds and quiet television shows. But he's still here, because tonight, something doesn't feel quite finished. As he rolls the mop bucket back into the supply closet, he notices it, the slow drip from the ceiling in the east stairwell. He sighs. Not again. He grabs the tall ladder, a flashlight, and a patch kit from the tool cabinet. He moves carefully through the dark, using muscle memory more than sight. He's fixed this spot before, or maybe one just like it. By the time he reaches the leak, the water has begun to pool on the landing. He climbs slowly, one step at a time. The flashlight flickers. The storm outside growls louder. And then, without warning, his foot slips. The ladder wobbles. His weight shifts too far left. A sharp burst of panic shoots through him. His hand grabs the railing. Just in time. He doesn't fall, but he feels it deep in his back. A pull, a stab, something not right. He stays on the stairwell landing, breathing hard. The rain continues outside, merciless and indifferent. His hands tremble, not from fear, from age. From where? From knowing he's not as steady as he used to be. He sinks down onto the steps, soaked, exhausted, quiet. And for the first time in a long while, he talks out loud. Not to anyone, just to the empty building. "I don't know how much longer I can do this," he says softly. His voice sounds foreign to him, too raw, too real. "I wake up every day with pain in my back, pain in my chest, pain I don't tell anyone about because I'm afraid if I say it out loud, it means I'll have to stop, and I don't know who I'll be if I'm not here." He closes his eyes. "I don't have anyone waiting at home. No one's making dinner. No one's wondering where I am. I stay late because this place is the only place that still remembers me." The wind howls through the cracks of the stairwell door. "I miss my daughter," he says. "I miss the way she used to leave drawings in my lunch bag. I miss hearing her call me Dad like it was the most certain thing in the world." His eyes begin to burn. I never got everything right. I know that. I worked too much. I missed concerts. I forgot birthdays. But this place, it gave me something to hold on to, something to build, piece by piece. And now, he trails off. The silence feels heavier now, not empty, just full of all the things he never said. He sits like that for a long time. No mop, no keys, no tools, just a man, just the storm, just the stairwell. Eventually, he stands. Slowly, carefully. He finishes patching the leak, though he knows it won't hold forever. Nothing does. He dries the landing as best he can, puts the ladder away, hangs the flashlight back on its hook. He passes the office on his way out. Through the glass, he sees his own reflection, older than he remembers, shoulders slumped, clothes damp and wrinkled, but still here, still standing. And somehow, that's enough for now. As he locks the main doors behind him, the rain finally begins to ease. He stands under the awning for a moment, breathing in the cold, clean air, letting the night wash over him. It's late, and he's tired, but something in him feels a little lighter, like saying the truth finally, fully made room for the weight he's carried too long. He steps out into the parking lot, one foot in front of the other, the storm behind him, and the building, as always, waiting for his return. The morning after the storm is still and pale. Mist hangs low over the soccer field. Puddles dot the sidewalks like tiny lakes, reflecting the soft amber of the parking lot lights. The building looks tired but whole, standing, as always. He arrives at 5:32 a.m. A few minutes late. His back aches more than usual. His steps are slow, but he's here. He unlocks the front doors and breathes in the quiet. Damp air, disinfectant, something faintly floral from a classroom air freshener left running overnight. He flicks on the lights. One by one, the hallways stretch to life. Same floors, same keys, same rhythm. And yet, something feels different. He pushes his mop bucket toward the east wing, moving cautiously, each step deliberate. The tile under his boots is cool, familiar. He hums just a little until he turns the corner near room 106. Then he stops. The wall is no longer bare. Sometime between last night and this morning, someone painted a mural. It's not large, just one panel, colorful, bright, unfinished around the edges, but unmistakably him. There, in soft brushstrokes, is the image of a bald man with wire-rimmed glasses, mop in hand, surrounded by students. One holds a thank you card, another hugs his leg. There's a small name tag on his shirt, Mr. D. At the bottom, someone has painted, "For the one who never left, the keeper of keys, the quiet guardian, the man who made this place feel safe." He stares at it, not with embarrassment, but with something deeper, something warmer, like recognition, like finally being seen. He doesn't cry, but his hands tighten around the mop handle, and for a moment, he lets himself be still. Footsteps approach behind him. It's a boy, maybe 12, backpack half-zipped, shoes untied, tired eyes. He stops when he sees him. "You're Mr. D, right?" the boy asks. "Yeah," he replies, voice soft. "My dad said you were here when he went to school. Said you always remembered his name." He nods. "I remember your dad. Quiet kid. Always read under the stairwell." The boy smiles. "He still reads a lot." "Glad to hear it." The boy walks off. Just before turning the corner, he adds, "Thanks for cleaning everything." Mr. D chuckles to himself. Anytime. More students arrive. More greetings. A teacher hands him a warm coffee hazelnut, his favorite. A pair of third graders wave at him from the library door. Someone even cleaned his supply closet. It's not perfect. Things are still a little out of place. The mop heads are in the wrong bin. The broom leans too far to the left. But the effort is there, and that means more than anyone could know. He walks slowly back down the mural hallway. One of the first grade teachers is standing nearby, clipboard in hand. "Do you like it?" she asks. He nods. "Didn't expect it. We've been planning it for weeks. Some of the older students helped paint after hours." He studies the figures again, the faces, the little details, the mop bucket, the ring of keys on his belt, even the worn boots. "They remembered," he says quietly. Of course they did. He stands in front of the mural for a while longer, not to admire it, just to be with it. Because for the first time, something about this place, this work, this life feels permanent. Not flashy, not loud, but carved gently into the walls. At 7:30 a.m., the bell rings. The building bursts into motion. Doors open, children laugh, teachers shout gentle reminders. And Mr. D? He gets back to work. Not because he has to, but because this is where he belongs. He straightens the row of lunch trays in the cafeteria, wipes a juice spill before it sticks, returns a lost glove to a tiny hand, all while the mural waits quietly around the corner. Later, someone will stop and look at it. A parent, a new teacher, a student 20 years from now. And maybe they won't know his full name, or the things he carried, or the nights he stayed late to patch holes no one else would ever see. But they'll know someone was here, someone who cared, someone who watched generations grow and never looked away.